Opening hook and welcome, 1min politics. A word we hear every day, on the news, in class, on social media, yet it often feels distant, maybe even frustrating. But politics isn't just what happens in parliaments or at the United Nations. It's in the price of your lunch, the bus route you take, and the rules on your campus. Hi everyone, welcome to At the Teaching Etudiant. In this video, we're exploring Chapter 1 of Understanding Politics, a guide to why politics matters and how it shapes our lives. Why study politics? The chapter begins with a simple but powerful question. Why should we study politics at all? One reason is self-interest. Decisions about tuition fees, internet regulation, or public transport directly affect us. For example, Kenyan students felt this when university funding reforms changed scholarship rules in 2023. Another reason is the public interest: clean water, healthcare, disaster response. During the COVID-19 pandemic, political choices about lockdowns and vaccines literally shaped who lived and who didn't. Studying politics is like learning the rules of a game you're already playing, whether you want to or not. The core concepts: power, order, and justice. Power. Politics is ultimately about power, the ability to influence behavior or make decisions. On the world stage, think of the UN Security Council's P5 nations: China, France, Russia, the UK, and the US, each with veto power that can block major resolutions. Power is visible in leaders and armies, but also in ideas and institutions that guide everyday choices. Order. Power is used to create order, the rules and structures that keep society stable. Kenya's 2010 constitutional referendum introduced new legal frameworks to prevent a repeat of the 2007-08 post-election violence. Order brings predictability, but it can also be challenged when people feel the rules are unfair. Justice. Justice asks, are the rules fair? Who benefits and who is left out? Movements like Black Lives Matter in 2020 questioned policing policies, demanding justice and equality. The three concepts, power, order, and justice, are interconnected. Power creates order, but without justice, order can feel like oppression. The Arab Spring showed what happens when people reject order that lacks justice. The dirty hands problem. Politics isn't just theory. Leaders often face moral dilemmas known as the dirty hands problem. Imagine a government imposing strict curfews during a pandemic. It saves lives but limits freedom. Is that right? Political decisions live in this gray zone where every choice has trade-offs. How we study politics, 3min. If politics is so complex, how do we study it? Political science blends philosophy and science. Normative questions ask what ought to be. Should the death penalty exist? Empirical methods like surveys and statistics measure what is. Comparative politics compares systems, such as Kenya's presidential model and the UK's parliamentary system. Researchers look at 5 key elements: people, policy, power, place, and period, to understand how decisions unfold. The power of ideas, 1min. Finally, Chapter 1 reminds us that ideas themselves are powerful. Consider how the concept of climate justice moved from student protests to global agreements like the Paris Accord. An idea can travel from classrooms to policy to international law. Recap and next steps, 1min. To recap, politics matters because it shapes both our personal interests and the common good. The key concepts of power, order, and justice explain how societies organize and debate fairness. Studying politics blends science, philosophy, and real-world case studies. In Chapter 2, we'll explore political ideologies, the belief systems behind political action. Which example of power or justice stood out to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Yours in learning, the Teaching Etudiant.